When Marvel Rivals first came out, I thought two things. One, the art style was AI generated. Two, this game was going to die in a month. Here we are a year later, and neither of those things were true. The art both behind the scenes and finalized is actually pretty cool, and this game is still going pretty strong. I am willing to admit that I have a toxic relationship with this game. Despite its flaws, I keep coming back for more punishment, and today we are here to fix one of those flaws. The character roster when Marvel Rivals first dropped had more than 30 characters, and most of them were DPS. And it didn't help that these characters weren't nobodies. They were Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Wolverine. If you had a favorite character in Marvel, it was probably a DPS. But Magneto was somehow stiffer than the literal tree, and Hulk only feels like Hulk when he uses his ultimate. Then there are the strategists. The majority of the fun ones came in later seasons. It's kind of a double-edged sword. Would you rather have in the game Shuri, Rescue, and Forge as strategist, or Nightcrawler, Ghost Rider, and Thanos? But then we got characters like Captain America, who you could really get away with making a duelist. I mean, how often do you see that shield not being used to give concussions? But no, Captain America is a dive tank. When Gambit was added, everybody knew this man was going to be another dive duelist. I mean, he blows things up. Strategist, who heals people with cards. I know in the comics there are certain objects that allow him to use certain abilities, I'm just saying. But honestly, Invisible Woman should have been a tank. Like, how is she healing people with force fields? So today, I'm going to rework some of the roster, turning Duelists into Vanguards, starting with... You could be forgiven for thinking MK is just another ripoff Batman. But you know what I think? Batman and Moon Knight are synonymous for beating the crap out of people, close up and personal. And as a Moon Knight main, I speak from experience when I tell you, being close up is the last thing you want to do, which is just so wrong. So we are almost completely overhauling his abilities. So now he is sporting 600 health. You can switch between throwing crescent darts and using his fists, or his screamer sticks, just make them do more damage, like 50 or some, like 50 or 70 or whatever. I'm not a game designer, I don't know how damage works. He keeps all of his original kit, with the addition of a cape shield inspired by his MCU counterpart. With this, you can take damage and throw it back, similar to Mr. Fantastic, but it breaks the more damage he takes. And it's a wave instead of like a straight shot back. I inspired his look by the Jed McKay run of Moon Knight, which is fire and you should totally check it out. On his forearms, I added straight jackets that are wrapped around like chains, which is a lot more metal than I wanted to go, but it works out. Just for fun, I gave him this new ability where he can come back with half health after being killed. Kinda like Rocket's Beacon, but only for him, and he can only do this the first time he's killed. So to recap, he has 600 health, cape shield that allows him to redirect projectiles in a wave similar to Mr. Fantastic, close combat options, and a new revive ability. This is my Moon Knight.
I tear through the cloudless night, just like the moon.
Now it's time for half the reason Deadpool 3 was a success, and the hope for future comic book movies having comic-accurate costumes. I have never been a Wolverine fan. I grew up with the MCU, so I'm an Iron Man guy. However, I did watch some of the Fox movies, none of which are going to inspire this look, because this is going to be a very comic book Wolverine. Wolverine's job is already to handle tanks, except for the ones that are his counters, like the Thing. But he's a short king, so how is he going to be a tank? Because his job is to never die. He is keeping Undying Animal as his passive. He generates 100 health. Whenever he doesn't take damage for a long period of time, he generates 50 health per second, similar to Invisible Woman. I am also giving him the Muramasa Blade, 8 healing factors, so it's really the only thing that can kill Wolverine, Omega Red, Sabretooth. I don't know if it can kill Deadpool. Well, it probably can't because of his plot armor. So this ability just straight up gives him a massive slash similar to Hawkeye, but also gives anti-heal. This is the real Undying Animal. As for the design, I gave him a, I don't know what it's called, a samurai ponytail, and his dog tags. I don't really have a comic-accurate Wolverine at this point in time. And I know that pisses a lot of people off, so just for them. So to recap, the Muramasa Blade does anti-heal and better regeneration.
I'm the best there is at what I do. but what I do isn't very nice.
I will die on the hill that Phoenix should have been a Vanguard, instead of the nonsense double duelist season we got. Phoenix is the most nothing character in this entire game. At least Black Widow is famous for how bad she is, and it makes sense for her to be that bad. But Phoenix? The thing that is usually the big bad of the X-Men every 5 years? No. First of all, the explosion she creates does splash damage. It is infuriating that it already doesn't do that. She can add aura around 2 people at a time that either protects them or boosts damage. She can also do this to herself. She can now create an area of effect similar to Angela that also does damage, but once you leave it, it still does damage for 3 seconds. Because you know fire. Another ability is that she can turn off passive abilities, preventing the synergy between abilities using psychic power. And as an add-on to the Phoenix Ultimate, if you don't die, it puts all of your abilities on cooldown. So in this revamp, Phoenix can shut down passives, Ultimate can force cooldowns, the ability to buff allies, a domain expansion pretty much, and just for the sake of it, she can now also permanently fly like Angela.
I am Phoenix!
Alright, so tell me what you guys think in the comments down below, and give me advice on what you think I could have done differently. If this video does well, I will turn Duelists into Strategists next. For those of you who watched to the end, thank you.